There's one time I'm on the subway in South Korea. I was in Korea, not North Korea, guys, South Korea. I'm from South Korea, okay? So I was in South Korea. I'm in Seoul, riding the subway, going to meet my cousin. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my stomach starts going, and I was like, oh, what's that? And then it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh. And right at that point, I'm like, I've got to go to the bathroom, but I still have 5 stops left. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting. I'm holding it in so hard, I start to sweat. That's how desperate I became. Finally, get to the train station and I book it. Pow! We're in the Gangnam Financial Center, brand new place, nice bathrooms. I run into the bathroom, I sit down, and I do my business. And it was big business, very big and very loud. Now, here's the thing. I'm doing this big, loud business. And, you know, when you're desperate, you don't care. You're just like, let it out. I don't care. Just go. I don't care if anyone hears it. But next to me, there's someone else doing even louder work than me. It's like, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-doom. Right? So I'm sitting there and I thought the situation was funny. So I started kind of laughing because it was funny. And then what happens is we both flush at the same time. And I'm like, man, I laughed. If I go out there, this person's going to look at me and, you know, it's going to be so embarrassing. So what I did was I stayed inside the stall and I waited and I listened and they're washing their hands and stuff. And I'm like going, okay. So I can, you know, they're almost done. But then I had this thought that came to my head is like, Sky, this is a stranger. You're not going to meet this person ever again, right? Just go. Just be natural. Be cool about it. Don't worry. You're not going to, you know, it's like, this is nothing. So I was like, you know what? I'm a foreigner. Just speak English. Everything is fine. Open the door and I walk out and this person just finished washing their hands and then we looked at each other like eye to eye. And it was a girl. And I was like, oh. And I looked around and I'm looking for the urinals and there's no urinal. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the girl says to me, you're in the girls' bathroom. And I'm like, ah, and I ran. I just ran out. And of course, when I'm running out, what do you think the first words that came to my mouth is? Oh, God, why? I was like, God, it's so embarrassing. God, why did this happen? My first words that came from my mouth was God, 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 God. And that's something that I looked at and I said, yeah, it's so crazy that the whole situation is crazy itself. But the interesting part is, whenever anything good or bad happens, the first thing we always do is we put it to God. We always say, God, why? God, why'd you do this? God, why is it like this? And when you think about that situation, the only person at fault is me. But we kind of tend to try to find something where we can take the blame off ourselves. And we're going to say God. Why? Because there's no one else to blame around us. And it makes us feel a little bit better. But when you realize a lot of the times in life, a lot of the pain and suffering we go through, yes, sometimes it comes from God. Sometimes it does. God puts us through things so that we can become stronger. God trains us to be better, but there's many times it's not God, it's just our own ignorance or stupidity. And that's what causes a lot of pain in our lives too.